Hey y'all, TRG here, and in this video I'll be talking about a system that could cause tornadoes in Nebraska and Kansas today, and I'll also be providing a tropical weather update. Let's go right on into today's video. So here's our SPC outlook for today. We have a slight risk level 2 out of 5 for severe weather in portions of Kansas and Nebraska here in the yellow. We do have ongoing convection that is out in front of that cold front, and this is going to pose really just a main risk of lightning and heavy rainfall, but a couple of these storms, especially this southern cell down in this area here, could cause some isolated damaging wind gusts for the next hour or so towards about 5 p.m. Eastern. But our main threat is going to be later on today around 6 p.m. Eastern, where we could have the threat of a tornado or two in this big 2% chance for tornadoes. That's in a very large chunk of central Kansas, just to the east of Dodge City. It also includes portions of Nebraska, including Lexington, Kearney, and Grand Island in Nebraska. Damaging winds could end up being an issue as well. So far, as of the 12:30 p.m. update, we will get another update in 1 hour at 4 o'clock when this video is released. But at the moment, we have a big 5% chance for damaging winds, and hail is actually the biggest concern today, where we could see isolated areas up to 2-inch in diameter inside this 15% chance for hail. So again, main threats today is definitely going to end up being hail, an isolated tornado threat, and the risk of up to 60-mile-an-hour winds. Tomorrow, not really much to speak of for severe weather. Same goes for day 3 and all the way till day 8. There's not much severe weather after today. Before I go a little bit more in depth into this, I want to take you to the GFS model run. This is generally what your trough ejection looks like right now. Just a very large trough ejection, negatively tilted. If this were to happen in a more prime time, say in tornado season like April or May, we would have a much more notable severe weather threat. But thankfully, we have a limited amount of moisture to work with today, and that's going to allow for today to not end up being a big threat for severe weather. But in the future here, as we go beyond October 23rd, we're going to be in really a zonal flow pattern here, where we just have this general jet stream flowing across the northern side of the U.S. thanks to a high pressure that is going to flop between like Baja California and in the mid-Atlantic states, and that should keep us in a relatively inactive pattern, hopefully throughout the rest of October. But as we go into November, we're going to eventually flip back into the severe weather side of things. We'll be keeping an eye on our model runs for this trough ejection here to close out October, which could bring severe weather somewhere in the Central Plains, but it is too far out to really get in depth to. It's just about 200 hours out, and then beyond that, I mean, we're going into fantasy land of your GFS model run. Before I dive on into the rest of today's video, I ask that you guys go ahead and share this video with your family, friends, and on social media to help spread weather awareness, and subscribe to the channel with the notification bell set to all if you are new to the channel, so you know when I go live or upload a video. Let's go right back on into today's video. So as you're watching this video about 4 p.m. Eastern, we're going to start seeing some storms fire up on the border of Kansas and Nebraska, as well as some additional storms towards 5-6 o'clock on the border of Oklahoma and Kansas. Both of these areas will have the potential to produce large hail and damaging winds, with that northern area directly out in front of the low pressure potentially having a risk for tornadic activity. That's where I'm going to be watching the closest today, right about 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock Eastern time, for the potential of a brief spin-up tornado. And then after that, we could still see some isolated large hail out in this region here. I believe that's near Wichita. Generally, we're going to be looking at more of a hail and damaging wind threat in this area, and an all hazards threat directly at that low pressure. Timing for these storms, like I said, is really going to be between, in this area, it's going to be between like 5 and 7. And in this region up here, it's going to be between like 6 and 8. We could see a lingering thunderstorm towards, 8 or 9 o'clock. But if we do end up seeing that, the storms are going to be more on just an isolated hail threat, and they will be weakening. After 9 p.m. Eastern, these storms will fizzle out very, very quickly, because they will really rapidly lose instability. And I'll show you that here. This is your surface-based instability around the time of recording, and you can see most of our energy is going to be focused where we're seeing those storms southwest of Wichita, going towards 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and you can see at 9 o'clock, we lose instability. That capping builds in, and these thunderstorms get completely choked off, and they die off very, very rapidly. Wind shear shouldn't really be much of an issue today. We're definitely going to have the potential for some spinning thunderstorms out there, but overall, the risk is fairly low just because of how messy this setup does look. I just don't think today's going to be a big day for severe weather, but we could still end up with a tornado or two in this region here, and some large hail and damaging winds in this area. And I do want to note, the HRRR, it is a model run, so we could end up with some extra convection in the middle. And if we do see that convection in the middle where the SPC has that 2% tornado risk, if they're discrete, we could have a tornado or two in that area as well. I'll show that supercell composite again. Like I said, that's where your best environment is, towards 7 o'clock. However, the HRRR just doesn't want storms to be in that area. They move off to the north and then die off rapidly. So we'll keep an eye on it. But at the moment, it doesn't look like a high-end tornado day. Regardless, we will be live on this channel. A live stream is planned for about probably 6:30, 6 o'clock. We'll aim for 6 o'clock Eastern time. That's about 2 hours after this video goes up. We should be live. And yeah, that's going to be it for your severe weather update. Now onto your tropical update. I want to show you guys the GFS ensembles. This is Tropical Storm Oscar here, moving off to the north. But I really want you to pay attention to this area. This is going to be our next area to watch as we go to the last few days of October and the beginning of November. You'll see here, I'm going to push this all the way out. This is October 28th. Into October 29th, that's when we start to see some ensembles begin to increase for the potential of tropical development. And then as we go into Halloween, that's when this really explodes on your GFS ensembles, with a large area of actually high confidence in a tropical system trying to form in and around Jamaica on Halloween into November as well. And then after that, it of course goes crazy, and there's a lot of different scenarios. But generally, we're going to be keeping an eye on this area for the potential of tropical development to close out October and to begin November as well. This is your European ensembles. This is October 27th. Watch that same area. You can already see some ensembles trying to light up here, going into October 29th, October 30th, and there they go on your European ensembles as we go into October 31st, November 1st. They light up in the same area as the GFS ensembles, so pretty good agreement between both of our ensembles that a tropical system could develop in and around Jamaica to start November, so we'll keep a very close eye on that. The good news is, at the moment, it doesn't look like this will be a U.S. threat, because we should have a high pressure over North Carolina and Virginia that hopefully will direct this out to sea and away from the United States. Here's your 2 p.m. update from the National Hurricane Center. You can see Oscar is currently still over Cuba, causing some minor issues right now. It is still expected to head out to sea as a tropical storm. Tropical storm watches are up for the Bahamas. Those could quickly turn into tropical storm warnings. Turks and Caicos still under those tropical storm warnings like they've been for, I don't know, like the last 70 some hours. They've been under those tropical storm warnings. So we'll continue to monitor that. And hopefully Oscar gets out of here very, very quickly. The main story for tropics, though, over the next week or so isn't going to be Oscar. It's going to end up being the Eastern Pacific. Oh, well, look at that. They actually upped this on the 2 p.m. update. Literally a near 100% chance for a tropical depression or storm to develop. So that is pretty much already formed. If these trends continue, advisories will be issued on this system at 5 p.m. Eastern. So it looks like this system's really already formed out here south of Mexico. And just to quickly show you guys that, I'm going to switch over to the GFS model run, and we're going to go over to the Eastern Pacific so you can see the future of this system. This is where our tropical depression, potential tropical storm is going to form, and then you'll see that move off to the west. I do think this could make a run for a hurricane, maybe even a major hurricane as we go into October 26th. So I will keep an eye on that. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Just wanted to quickly get a video out on that tornado potential and a tropical weather update. So I appreciate you tuning in, and I will see you guys in today's live stream. Have a great rest of your day and or night. Goodbye.